It's a cat and mouse game.
They just promise you all these things.
Great, here's the fee, and then rug pull, gone.
I had this on my house so I could pay off the line of credit.
They are ruthless, highly intelligent, and will stop at nothing to get your money.
Our life is going to change.
It has become a part of the modern world, but most people still find the term cryptocurrency difficult to define or understand.
Age-old saying about there's no dumb question.
Yeah.
There is no dumb question with regards to Bitcoin because most people don't know anything about it.
It is a digital form of money that is not dependent on a central authority such as governments or banks, which means less red tape or hurdles for cyber criminals. While cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin are not illegal, they are indeed useful tools for scammers, easy to steal and tough to trace.
It's a cat and mouse game. You know, one moment we're in front, and then the next moment they're in front.
In this episode, we'll hear from Detective Scott Abbott of the EPS Financial Crimes Unit about how you can avoid the pitfalls of cryptocurrency fraud.
It's going to go more and more higher than what we already have.
I'm Adam Cook, and this is The Con Job. So first of all, Scott, this is a very complex subject for a lot of people. People really don't understand it or don't have a full grasp of cryptocurrency. In basic terms, what is it?
Bitcoin is a decentralized digital currency using cryptography as a way of kind of verifying the transactions peer-to-peer. For example, you and I can transact using Bitcoin for a good or service, and your wallet and my wallet, digital wallets, and we can simply do that transaction using Bitcoin as a method of payment. Again, decentralized, so there's no one governing body, person, organization, or government that is in control of it. It's controlled by a network, so therefore we can transact with no other parties involved.
Okay, and what's the difference between a Bitcoin and the other term you meant, altcoin?
Yeah, so a Bitcoin is or was created in 2009 simply for the peer-to-peer transactions.
Okay.
Like I mentioned with that no governing body or person. Altcoins are alternative coins. And basically those are every other coin that was created post-Bitcoin is considered an altcoin.
Okay.
For example, the next biggest one is Ethereum. Ethereum is an altcoin. And then you have XRP, and it's an altcoin. It's a term used by the ecosystem as to everything other than Bitcoin.
So let's get to a cryptocurrency scam. What are they? How do they usually play out?
People look at cryptocurrency as a scam itself. Okay, that's not necessarily true. It can be, and I will explain, but it's usually an underlying scam. So romance, grandparent scam, investment scam that use cryptocurrency, and in a lot of cases, Bitcoin, as a form of payment for that scam. Just like some scams use gift cards, right? Apple's iTunes. Cryptocurrency is a form of payment for any other type of scam. Now, when it's a scam itself is when someone who, for nefarious reasons, decides to create their own cryptocurrency. I could create my own cryptocurrency. I could put it out there. I can get it listed on an exchange, which is a place where you can buy, sell, and swap.
And you decided what it's worth.
Yeah. Depending on the demand, which is very low at the time, and how many you make available. The point is that a lot of people will create their own create their own cryptocurrency. They'll do some crowdfunding. They'll try and get investors. And when they think they get enough money, they do the old rug pull and then disappear with the money. So there was no use case for the cryptocurrency. It was just a method to get people's investment money and then run. Right. And that's where it's a scam itself. Most times it's a payment for other scams.
The typical victims who are they?
Easily, everybody. And when I say that, I mean, it could be the blue collar, it could be the white collar, it could be the doctor, it could be the lawyer. We've had these. So all different levels within the community are victims, and they're approached in different ways. But you're correct that most people don't know a whole lot about cryptocurrency, but they get phished, or they get an email or a text message going, "Hey, I got an investment scam for you. No risk, big rewards, big returns, short amount of time. Those are three red flags in itself.
Right.
But when they go, you know what, I can make that. I can retire early. I can do education for my kids or grandkids. They start to think about the money, and then they just said, sure. And then they go into it not knowing anything.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest problem. But that is anybody. Anybody can convince to buy to use cryptocurrency.
So how do they target their victims then? Or do the victims come to them?
Sometimes, actually. A quick example, one of the complainants that I'm aware of actually put out on Facebook Messenger that they had a certain amount of money to invest and what's the best way to invest. They put that out on Facebook Marketplace, I think it was, Messenger. And you just open the doors to all the criminals and the fraudsters to go, oh,
Yeah.
I know where you can invest that. And then they contact, right? But other ways are phishing. In other words, it's just like throwing out a mass email or a mass text message to numbers and emails that the fraudsters already have. And so they'll throw out like a net, and they'll do a phishing, and then they'll just see who bites. Or whaling. Whaling is when the fraudster knows that there's someone with a lot of money, specifically an individual, or maybe even an organization, and they target that person or organization directly. So they're going after that big whale as opposed to casting that fish net.
Mm-hmm. And the criminals that are kind of unleashing these scams, do they have common traits? Are they all over the world? Where are they and who are they?
Yeah, a good question. Common traits, they want the money, of course.
Sure.
That's the reason why they're doing this. But you're correct. They're all over the world. You can get some that are local. When I say local, Edmonton or Alberta or Canada, quite often they are overseas. Quite often they are larger organizations that are doing it for nefarious reasons. A Lazarus Group out of North Korea, well-known large organization that commits fraud to fund whatever they fund. And that's one. That's an example of a large organization. And they are from different countries, and they basically target a lot of people in North America.
At a local level, how much has this cost, the cryptocurrency scams, how much do they cost Edmontonians?
We have very limited stats on cryptocurrency, but last year for 2023, what I have, and keep in mind, Adam, that the reporting is low. We believe that the reporting is much lower than what it is, or how often that this is happening. So what we do know is that approximately 170 files, 170 occurrences that I'm aware of, and I was trying to keep stats for 2023, crypto specific. So 170 plus or minus, and we're about $9.4 million for those that Edmontonians have lost to different types of scams,
Right.
with the crypto as a method of payment.
And because the reporting is low, that number is probably much higher.
Much higher. I believe that to be much higher, both on the dollar value and the amount of incidents. Much higher.
Why is the reporting low? Why do you think that?
It like other scams, it comes down to embarrassment. I think embarrassment a little bit, because people end up mortgaging or remortgaging a house, or taking out a line of credit, or taking money off their credit cards, borrowing, for example, I know for sure, borrowing from friends and family because the investment was too good to pass up. The returns being offered with no risk were just too good to pass up. And they get involved, and now they have to admit that they've done something wrong, and they may feel a little bit of embarrassment and don't want to report. I encourage people to report, because the more we know, the better.
The criminals sound very sophisticated. How tough does that make your job as far as investigating these scams?
It's a cat and mouse game. One moment we're in front, and then the next moment they're in front. And it seems like, from law enforcement, from a technical point of view, that we're kind of always catching up. And then that's kind of my take on it. But they are sophisticated, and they run some really sophisticated scams, and believable scams. And that's why it's so successful.
What are the warning signs that people should always kind of keep in mind and always kind of look for?
The cryptocurrency involved scams are no different than any other. So the warning signs are very similar, and we hear them before, but it's best to hear them again. And that is that it's too good to be true. We are told sometimes from kids, from our parents, or from friends, or even from teachers, that things, if it seems too good to be true, it is. There's always a form of, and I'll be honest here, there's always a form of greed right?
Yeah.
That humanity has when it comes to money, because it's that retirement. It's to want to buy things, family, and pay education for the grandkids. There's a level of greed here that comes to the surface, and emotions. So if they want money right away, if the romance scam, if they want to create a relationship real quick, but they need money to assist. If they want you with cryptocurrency as a payment, if they want you to go to a bank machine, an ATM that is designed for cryptocurrency, that quite often is a scam. The bank machines, I'll say bank ATMs, there are Bitcoin ATMs that deal with Ethereum and a couple others, mainly Bitcoin. They're legal. There's probably about 180 of them in Edmonton. There's just over 400 of those Bitcoin ATMs in Alberta. So they're legal. And you can buy and sell or swap cryptocurrency through those. But the scammers will stay on the phone with people, because most people don't understand how to use it, and they'll walk them through it.
Right.
So if you're asked to go to a Bitcoin ATM and do some transactions, and they're going to help you walk through it, I almost guarantee it's a scam.
Really? Let's just say I've been frauded out of a sum of money. What's my first step? What's my first thing that I should be doing as far as, when it comes to law enforcement?
Yeah. When you look at cryptocurrency, there's a couple quick myths that it can't be traced and it's anonymous. They're wrong. It's traceable to a certain point, and like the tools that we have in law enforcement to follow and to trace, we can do that, but it's to a certain point. The anonymous piece, it's pseudo-anonymous. And what I mean by that is, we know the transactions, we know the wallet address it came from, we know the wallet address it went to, the date, the time, the amount of crypto used, we know all of that. We just don't know who owns those wallet addresses, and that's where the pseudo-anonymous piece comes in. When someone becomes a victim of a cryptocurrency, again, first thing they need to do is get past that embarrassment piece about losing money or borrowing and losing, and report to police. We want to know what's happening out there. The likelihood of finding the person responsible for the fraud is, I'll be honest, it's slim, because it's cryptocurrency, and because they use different wallet addresses, and they bounce, or what we call hop, from address to address, and they easily change the money from address to address, trying to obfuscate where that money is going and who owns it. In the cryptocurrency ecosystem, there's mixers and tumblers. They are designed to hide information, to hide transactions. And if the criminal, the fraudster, was to use those, it makes it very difficult to get money back. I'm not going to say impossible, but very difficult to get it back. And there's privacy coins, and we mentioned earlier in the podcast that a privacy coin is an altcoin, and there's a privacy coin that obfuscates or hides the transaction value, the sending address, the receiving address. So basically hides everything. So if I know that person has used that privacy coin, we're pretty much dead in the water when it comes to investigation. We want people to report it because we want the information, but my advice to victims is don't get your hopes up with the returning of the money. Even if we were to find that the person responsible and be able to lay charges right within Canada or outside Canada, the likelihood of the money coming back, I'll be honest, is low.
You can report suspected fraud to the Edmonton Police Service or your local police department. The Con Job is a production of the Edmonton Police Service. Follow us on your favorite podcast player. On behalf of EPS Corporate Communications, I'm Adam Cook.